testimony. And now we'll turn to Mr. Togochog.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Co-Chair, and distinguished member of the Commission for holding this hearing. My name is Enghebatu Togochog. I'm a Mongolian from Southern Mongolia, also known as Inner Mongolia. What's happening in Southern Mongolia today is what the Mongolians regard as a wholesale cultural genocide aimed at the total eradication of Mongolian language, culture, and identity. In 2020, responding to China's new language policy, the Mongolians carried out a massive resistance movement. 300,000 Mongolian students went on a total school strike. The Chinese authorities responded with massive arrests. An estimated 8 to 10,000 protesters have been arrested, detained, imprisoned, and placed under house arrest. 11 lost their lives in defense of their rights to their mother tongue. What followed this heavy-handed crackdown was a full-scale cultural genocide campaign, the scope of which has extended far beyond the simple switch of language in schools. Learn Chinese and become a civilized person has been an official slogan publicly promoting Chinese supremacy. Mongolian language programs have been removed from radio, television, and newspapers or replaced with the Chinese ones. Students are subject to military-style training and must sing red songs to extol the greatness of China. Teachers are brought to the communist red base Yan'an to receive a patriotic education. To justify the campaign, the Chinese National Congress announced last year that the local laws on the right to education in minority languages are unconstitutional. Subjects on Mongolian culture and history have been removed from curriculums for emphasizing Mongolian ethnic identity. All extracurricular activities for learning Mongolian have been banned. Mongolian traditional arts and performance have been altered to adopt the Chinese style to reflect the superiority of Chinese culture. Mongolian sacred sites have been taken over by Chinese traditional art performers, and Mongolian customs and ritual ceremonies are scorned and mocked. Sculptures, monuments, and buildings with Mongolian characteristics have been taken down. Signs in Mongolian have been removed from schools, buildings, streets, and parks. Mongolian publications have been banned. Books have been removed from shelves. Printing and copy service have been ordered not to provide service for any materials written in Mongolian. Postal and courier service are instructed not to deliver any Mongolian books and publications. Starting December 2020, a region-wide training program called the Training for the Firm Inculcation of the Chinese Nationality Common Identity was launched. All Mongolian students, teachers, government employees, party members, and ordinary herders were targeted for the training. A 47-page pamphlet marked as an internal document was issued to detail the urgency and goal of the training and to compel Mongolians to fully accept the Chinese identity and Chinese culture. The document also warns Mongolians that the wrong path of narrow nationalism can lead to the return of national separatism. The trainees told us that during the training, they must denounce their narrow nationalism and nationalistic feeling. They must surrender all of their social contact and the details of their online activities to the authorities. They are forced to confess their supposed mistakes, including wearing Mongolian clothes and singing Mongolian songs. They had to answer multiple questionnaires designed to assess their ideological improvement. One of the questions a trainee said was, "How many Chinese friends do you have?" Those who answered none or few had to go through further training before they are allowed to graduate. Before their release, all trainees signed a paper promising that they would not engage in any activities highlighting Mongolian characteristics or expressing Mongolian nationalistic feeling. This is what's happening in Southern Mongolia today. Considering these deteriorating conditions, China's determination to erase the Mongolian language, culture, and identity, and the lack of support from the international community, I would like to make the following recommendations to the United States Congress. One, conduct further hearings and testimonies to investigate the serious human rights violations in Southern Mongolia, in particular, the ongoing cultural genocide. 2, establish the Mongolian language broadcast on Voice of America and/or Radio Free Asia to help Southern Mongolians have access to the free and democratic world. 3, introduce and pass legislation similar to the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act and Tibet Policy and Support Act to support the 6 million Southern Mongolians in their effort to defend their basic human rights and fundamental freedoms. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony about the many, many ways that Mongolian language and culture are being impacted. We're now turning to Ms. Taetom.